Hey scrappy people, it's Traci Reed here today, coming at you with a fun 12 by 12 layout. In my 2021 album, I have had this layout kicking around in my head for months. In fact, I sort of pre-made this layout before I had all three of my photos. In fact, I did pre-make this layout before I had all three of my photos, but I'm using my Anywhere But Here collection, which has this very large map, well, it's 12 by 12 map of the United States in it, and I'm doing a lot more traveling this year than I expected. So I have been running all over the country, my standard Tennessee run, which actually is notable because I ran down by the Tennessee River, which I don't normally do, and then on the left-hand side there on the left coast, which is the best coast, I went home for a few days to visit my sister for her birthday, and so I ran by the American River in Sacramento, and then I planned a last minute trip to Miami for my birthday, and so I'm going to document that run by the beach as well. And so I knew I was going to run by the beach, but I actually made this layout like a month early before we were actually going to Miami, because I knew I wanted to have all three places. Initially, I was just going to do the two, and then I decided I wanted all three places, of course. And then I learned that I need to go back to California again for my bestie's bachelorette party. So I'm going to the ocean for that bachelorette party, so it kind of ruins this whole layout. But that's okay. I will do something else for that run or that theme. So I'm placing these little tiny geotags over the parts of the states where I was running. So I have these printed out letters from the digital kit for Anywhere But Here as well. So I printed out CATN and FL, and I'm going to make little clusters around each photo, or in one case, a photo mat, to sort of celebrate the culture, not culture, but like the landscape of each place. So this actually I pre-planned in Photoshop so that I could make sure that everything fit well on this 12 by 12 layout. So I'm just sort of reassembling from my Photoshop file in person. So this didn't actually take very long physically. It did take a little bit longer since I did pre-plan it. So I did design the layout in Photoshop, which took some time, but it didn't take very long to put together, so that's why we're moving at sort of a standard pace here, and this video is only 7.5 minutes long. Got to put that palm tree in Florida. So I just got back from Florida yesterday. I'm just decided to finish up this layout and get it up on the YouTubes. So I just came back from Florida yesterday, and there are so many palm trees. Like, I'm used to palm trees in Southern California, but they're not native there. I don't know if they're native to Florida, but I would assume they're more native than Southern California. So I'm so glad that I put that palm tree there, because they were everywhere in Florida. You can tell I've never been to Southern Florida before, because I didn't know. I guess I could have Googled it, but I assumed there were palm trees. I'm using that postage stamp that has the beach. I want to create some fun clusters that aren't just icons, so I'm making sure that I'm incorporating some tags and some other bits as well. So I'm going to get this under here. Don't want to cover up that geotag. I also pre-printed my journaling on little labels, and that's one of my big tips and tricks for if you're incorporating hybrid stuff into your scrapbooking, is pre-printing or putting your journaling on the labels, like you can see there. Just makes it so much easier, especially if you're adding a bunch of text like I did on these. I put the date, or actually the month, and the place that I ran, because I wanted to, that's what I was, highlighting for this layout. So I wanted to make sure that they would all fit. I love those geotag labels from the collection. They all say different things, like checked off the bucket list, which was my Florida one, and weekend destination on Tennessee. So you can sort of go with the flow of those prompts, or you can just use them as geotags too. I love this stripy tag. The stripes in this collection are some of my favorite stripes. They look like beach towels to me, which I guess is perfect for a travel collection. Even though this travel collection is not necessarily beach themed, you can see I just put mountains up there. And there's also desert stuff that you can use to scrapbook too, but I do like that tropical sort of vibe for the stripe. All right, so clusters are working here, and I decided that I needed something to sort of tie all three of these clusters together. And so I'm going to add some arrows sort of going around in a circle here in a second. So that way you get the vibe of like the traveling across the country sort of feel that I was going for. I love this one. If you never go, you'll never know. Miami's been on we went to Miami Beach, which is, its own little separate island, but Miami Beach has been on our bucket list, or at least my bucket list, forever. And so when we moved to the eastern part of the United States, not necessarily the East Coast, but when we moved to the eastern part of the United States, it was one that I've just been jonesing to go to because it's so much easier to access from here. So I love the sentiments for that particular cluster. And it turned out perfectly too, because it really was probably the best vacation I've ever been on. Here's my official journaling for the whole page. It says, I didn't know that running on 3 beaches was something I was going to be doing in 2021, but I'm here for it. And here come the arrows. So this arrow is from the sticker set, and there's only one on the printable sheet, so I just printed it 3 times, not the whole sheet, just the arrow 3 times, because that is the beauty of hybrid scrapbooking. You can print as many times as you would like. You never run out of supplies. So I'm going to come back a month later and add in my Florida photo, and we are good to go. Ha! It worked out perfectly. Yay! If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. There is a link to anywhere but here in the description box below. All right, thank you.